Hey man, let's get one thing straight from the jump. Women don't fall for what's easy. They don't obsess over what's predictable, and they definitely don't chase what's already in their lap. What they crave is uncertainty, mystery, emotional tension. That's the lifeblood of attraction. And the delayed response trick is one of the most silent, subtle, yet devastatingly effective ways to activate all of it without saying a word. Because the moment you stop being instantly available, that's the moment she starts leaning in. You see, every time you take a few minutes, or even a few hours, before responding, you do something most guys don't even realize. You interrupt her expectations. Most guys reply immediately. Most guys are desperate for her attention, glued to their phones like they're waiting for a life or death message. But when you pause, you signal something powerful. You're not like the others. You've got a life, you've got options, and most importantly, you're not afraid to walk away. When you respond instantly, you're giving her certainty. You're telling her, hey, I'm here whenever you need me. And while that might sound nice in a rom-com, in real life, it's boring. It kills tension. It destroys mystery. But when you delay your response, even just by a little, her brain doesn't go, he's being rude. No, it goes, wait, why isn't he replying yet? And that's where the magic begins. That little question, it creates curiosity. It opens a loop. And until that loop is closed, she's emotionally invested. Think about it like this. When you get everything you want right away, how much do you value it? Not much. But when you have to wait for it, when you have to earn it, suddenly it means more. The same rule applies to you. When she has to wait for your attention becomes valuable, scarce, desired. It's no longer just a text. It's an event. Now, here's the kicker. Her emotional system is wired around dopamine, that little hit of pleasure we get when we experience something unpredictable, exciting, or rewarding. And delayed responses hack into that system like a cheat code, because she doesn't know when you'll reply, but she's hoping you will. That anticipation, that's dopamine, that's attraction. Delayed response also creates a subtle power dynamic. The one who controls the pace of the interaction controls the emotional frame. When you're the one deciding when and how the communication flows, you're setting the tone. You're not reacting, you're leading. And women don't chase men who react. They chase men who lead. But this isn't about playing games. It's not about being a jerk or trying to manipulate her. It's about understanding that attraction lives in the unknown. When you make yourself too predictable, you kill the very tension that draws her in. The delayed response trick doesn't push her away, it pulls her in, slowly, subconsciously, powerfully, and the beauty of it, it's completely silent. No flashy moves, no clever lines, just space. Space that makes her wonder, space that makes her replay your last message, space that keeps you in her head, even when you're not around. What most guys don't realize is that the human brain hates open loops. When a conversation is left hanging, when a text is unanswered, when a story feels unfinished, the brain obsesses over it. That's why cliffhangers work. That's why suspense sells. And that's why delayed responses keep her attention. She's not thinking about the guy who replied in 10 seconds. She's thinking about the guy who left her message on read, but had the confidence to do it calmly. The guy who made her wait, not because he was trying to play her, but because he genuinely wasn't waiting by his phone for her validation. That's the silent signal you're sending every time you pause. Every time you let her message breathe, you're saying, I've got options, I've got standards, and I'm not desperate for your attention. That energy, it's rare, and rarity is irresistible. Because here's the harsh truth. Women don't fall for men who need them. They fall for men they need to figure out. When you reply instantly, you've already given her the answer. But when you delay, she starts asking questions. Is he busy? Is he losing interest? Did I say something wrong? That internal dialogue? That's how emotional investment starts. And let's be real, man. Emotional investment is the gateway to attraction. You can't force someone to feel something, but you can create the conditions where those feelings grow naturally. And space, mystery, unpredictability, those are the ingredients. So next time you feel that urge to text her back immediately, pause, breathe. Remember that you are the prize here. You're not trying to win her over, she's trying to figure you out. That shift in mindset changes everything. You don't have to disappear. You don't have to ghost her. You just have to stop acting like she's the center of your world. Let her earn your responses. Let her wonder. Let her wait, because when she waits, she values. When she wonders, she wants. And the moment she starts chasing your attention is the moment you flip the script. You're no longer the one pursuing. You've become the challenge, the mystery, the man she can't quite figure out, but desperately wants to. And that, my friend, is where the game changes. Part 2. The common mistakes men make when messaging women. Let's get brutally honest for a second. Most guys kill their own attraction by what they think is showing interest, but in reality, they're slowly erasing the very intrigue that could have made her addicted to them. Messaging a woman isn't just about what you say, it's about how you say it, when you say it, and more importantly, how she feels after you say it. That's the unspoken game, and if you're not aware of it, you're probably making these mistakes without even realizing. Let's start with the biggest one, texting her too much. Look, I get it. When you like someone, you want to talk to them. You want to keep the conversation alive. But the more you flood her with texts, the less room you give her to miss you. And here's the paradox. The more available you are, the less value you seem to have. Attraction doesn't grow in constant connection, it grows in the gaps between connection. Another major mistake, double texting, triple texting, following up after she didn't respond. You're not being persistent, you're signaling that you don't respect yourself, that your time has no value, that her silence is more important than your dignity. And trust me, man, women pick up on that energy instantly. You don't need to chase, you need to be chased. And you can't do that if you're always trying to fill the silence. Over-explaining yourself is another trap. You say something a little edgy or playful, and then immediately follow it up with, haha, just kidding, or hope that didn't sound weird. Bro, stop, own your words. Confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about being unapologetic. When you explain everything, you're showing fear, and fear is the biggest turn-off there is. Let's talk about emojis for a second. There's nothing wrong with using them sparingly, but when every message is filled with smiley faces, hearts, or laughing, crying emojis, you're not flirting, you're begging to be liked. You're trying to soften your masculinity to make her feel comfortable. But guess what? Women don't crave comfort from a man. They crave edge. They crave polarity, masculine confidence. Not a digital hug machine. Now here's a killer, asking too many questions. You're trying to keep the conversation going, so you ask, how was your day? What are you up to? Did you sleep well? Sounds nice, right? But it's not building tension. It's not sparking desire. It's not making her feel anything. You've become her pen pal, her emotional sponge, and she'll lean on you until she finds the guy who actually excites her. Another mistake that slips under the radar, instant replies. The second she texts, you're already typing. You think you're showing her she's important, but what you're actually showing is that you were just waiting for her, that you had nothing else going on, that your time revolves around her. And the more you do that, the more she subconsciously pulls away, because the chase is over, the game is done, and she's already won. Let's not forget the good morning and good night texts. Now listen, these can be powerful if used rarely, but if you're doing it every day, you've turned yourself into a routine, into a habit, into a background noise. And no woman obsesses over background noise. She craves emotional spikes, not emotional security. If she knows exactly when you're going to text, you've made yourself predictable, and predictability is the death of desire. Apologizing unnecessarily is another silent killer. You text a little late, and you're already saying, sorry I was busy. No man, don't apologize for having a life. Own your time. Let her feel the weight of your absence. Let her know you're not glued to your phone. That kind of energy communicates power. It tells her she's dealing with a man who values himself more than her validation. Now let's flip it. What happens when you don't text at all? Most guys can't handle the anxiety. They feel like she'll forget them, like she'll lose interest. But that's your scarcity mindset talking. A man who knows his worth isn't afraid of silence. He uses silence. He lets her feel the lack of him, because only in that space can she start to crave him. Another mistake. Being too agreeable. You like everything she likes. You say yes to everything. You're scared to disagree. And while that may keep the peace, it kills the attraction. Women don't want a clone. They want a man. Someone with his own opinions. Someone who stands firm, even when it creates a little tension. That tension, that's electricity. That's chemistry. That's what keeps her hooked. Being too emotionally available too soon is also dangerous. You open up, pour your heart out, talk about your past, your feelings, your struggles, and you do it all in the first week. You think you're building connection, but what you're really doing is overexposing yourself. You've shown her every card in your hand, and now there's no mystery left to chase. Don't send long paragraphs trying to explain how much you like her. Don't write love essays trying to win her over. That's not romantic, it's needy. You don't convince someone to feel something. You create the conditions for that feeling to grow. And that happens through energy, timing, space, not desperate texts. Stop asking for reassurance. Do you still like me? Did I do something wrong? Are we okay? These questions come from insecurity, and insecurity is never attractive. A high-value man doesn't ask if he's being chosen. He knows he is. And if not, he walks. Here's the real kicker. Most guys confuse communication with connection. Just because you're texting every day doesn't mean she's feeling anything. It doesn't mean she's invested. It doesn't mean she's attracted. Real connection is about emotion, and emotion comes from unpredictability, tension, and depth, not constant chatter. Don't be the guy who texts "lol" to keep the conversation alive. Don't be the guy who replies to her story with fire emojis hoping for attention. Be the guy who shows restraint, who engages when he wants, and disappears when he doesn't. That contrast makes you unforgettable. And finally, don't confuse attention with affection. Just because she responds doesn't mean she's interested. She could be bored. She could be using you for validation. Your job is to watch how she responds. The speed, the tone, the enthusiasm, that tells you everything. And if it's lukewarm, pull back. Let her feel the difference. Let her earn your presence. Because once you start doing that, you stop being another guy in her inbox, and you start becoming the one she can't stop thinking about. Part 3. The art of creating magnetic tension without saying much. If you really want to flip the script and make her chase you, you have to understand this. It's not about saying the right thing all the time. It's about creating emotional tension that lingers in her mind long after the conversation ends. And that kind of tension isn't built with words, it's built with energy, with presence, with mystery. When you master that, you'll stop chasing and start attracting. Let's talk about silence. Not the awkward kind, but the charged kind. Most men rush to fill every pause in a conversation. They can't handle even a few seconds of quiet. But a man who is comfortable with silence, that's a man who knows his power. When you can look her in the eye and just pause, no words, no smiles, just calm, it triggers something primal. It says, I'm not desperate to entertain you, I am the entertainment. Now let's bring that into texting. You don't need to reply instantly. In fact, don't. Take your time. Let the conversation breathe. Let her wonder. Let her feel the absence. Because every time you delay that response, with intention, not laziness, you're building anticipation, and anticipation is attraction's secret weapon. Mystery is another weapon that most guys forget about. They overshare, over-explain, over-describe, but you want to make her curious. Give her just enough to feel intrigued, but not enough to feel satisfied. Drop hints, not explanations. When she asks about your weekend, don't give her a full breakdown. Say, let's just say it got interesting, and leave it at that. Let her imagination do the heavy lifting. Your tone matters more than your words. Playful, teasing, a little cocky, it's all about emotional contrast. Don't be afraid to challenge her. If she says something basic, don't just agree. Say, you're more mysterious than I thought, or I'm not sure if I believe that yet. Make her work for your approval. That tension, that back and forth, that's what creates emotional spikes. Body language is just as important. When you're in person, lean back. Take up space. Speak slower. Hold eye contact a little longer than comfortable. Let her feel your presence. Most guys lean in, fidget, talk too much. But when you just exist with calm confidence, you become unforgettable. Tension also comes from contrast. Be warm one moment and distant the next. Be playful, then serious. Be available, then gone. That unpredictability keeps her guessing, and guessing is good. Predictability is safe. Predictability is boring. But when she doesn't quite know what to expect from you, that's when she starts thinking about you when you're not around. Don't always show all your interest up front. Let her earn it. Compliment her, sure, but make it rare. Make it count. When she sends you a picture, don't flood her with validation. Instead, say something like, "You already know the effect you have, don't you?" That line says everything. That you see her, you're not impressed easily, and you still have the upper hand. Eye contact is a secret weapon most men misuse. They either avoid it or they stare too hard. But the trick is to hold it just long enough to make her feel seen, then look away like you've already read her soul. It's not about dominance, it's about connection. A deep, slow gaze creates emotional tension that no words ever could. Less is more. When you text, make your messages short, confident, and intentional. Use pauses, use space, let her pull for more. When she asks a question, don't give the full answer, give a piece, make her work. She won't lose interest, she'll become more invested, because now she has to earn your attention. When you tell stories, don't tell her everything. Focus on the emotion behind the story, not just the facts. Talk about how something made you feel, or how it changed you, but always leave room for her to ask more. That back and forth discovery builds connection way deeper than surface level banter. Start using the pullback strategy. When you feel the vibe peaking, when the convo is fun, flirty, full of laughter, that's when you disappear for a while. Let the moment linger in her mind. Don't be afraid to leave her wanting more. The more she has to wait for the next dose of your energy, the more she'll crave it. Don't always match her energy. If she's excited, stay cool. If she's being cold, get warmer, but only slightly. That emotional dance creates a rhythm, and when you lead that rhythm with confidence, she follows without realizing it. You don't want to be in sync, you want to be one step ahead. Confidence doesn't mean being loud, it means being certain. Certain in your pauses, in your movement, in your replies. When you speak with calm certainty, like you already know how she feels, like you're not even surprised she's into you, you create an aura that pulls her in without effort. Be unpredictable in your compliments. Don't tell her she's beautiful when she expects it. Say it when she's flustered, or when she's ranting about something. Catch her off guard. That's what makes it feel real. That's what makes her heart skip, and that's what sticks in her memory. Emotional pacing is another trick. Speed up the interaction, then slow it down. Get deep, then go light again. That emotional rhythm keeps her hooked, because she never feels static, she never feels flat. And the truth is, women are addicted to emotional movement. Give it to her, in waves. Let her invest. Let her ask questions. Let her initiate. If she doesn't, don't panic. Just pause, pull back. And when she finally reaches out, reward her just enough. Don't overgive. Keep the balance tipped just slightly in your favor, and she'll keep trying to close the gap. Your words are a tool, not a crutch. Use fewer of them, but make every one count. When you say something, say it like it matters, like she should remember it. That presence, that focus, that's rare, and rare men are always attractive. When you walk into a room, slow down. Let the room adjust to you. Don't rush to greet, don't rush to speak. Let your presence fill the space before your voice does. That unspoken dominance, that's what makes people turn and look, and women feel it. And most importantly, trust the silence, trust the pause, trust the unknown. That's where attraction lives, not in constant conversation, not in constant reassurance, but in the space where curiosity and desire collide. Part 4. The power of strategic absence, how to make her obsess over you. This is where it gets real. If you've ever wondered why some women just can't stop thinking about that one guy, the guy who doesn't even seem to be trying, it all comes down to this: strategic absence, not ghosting, not playing games, but knowing exactly when to disappear and how to do it in a way that drives her absolutely crazy with curiosity. This is how obsession begins, not with constant attention, but with unexpected silence from a man she wants more of. Most guys think presence equals progress. The more available they are, the more she'll like them, right? Wrong. What really pulls a woman in isn't your presence, it's your absence, done right. It's when she starts to notice you're not there and wonders why. It's when she hears a song, sees a spot you once talked about, or scrolls through her phone and suddenly realizes you've been silent for a while. That quiet, that sudden void, creates emotional tension she feels, even if she doesn't understand it. Here's the key. Absence only works if she was emotionally engaged first. If she's already intrigued, already leaning in, already enjoying the vibe, then you pull back. That's when the silence doesn't go unnoticed. That's when she starts to think about you more than you ever had to speak. Most men get scared in that silence. They rush back in with hey texts, double messages, or pointless updates. But the high-value man, he lets the silence speak for him. Think of it like this. Every interaction with her is like planting a seed. You water it with energy, vibe, laughter, and presence. But if you keep watering non-stop, you drown it. It never has a chance to grow on its own. That's why the pullback matters. That's why stepping away creates room for the feelings to take root, for her to actually miss you. And when a woman starts to miss you, she starts to value you. The timing of your disappearance is everything. Do it too soon, and she won't care. Do it too late, and she's already moved on. The sweet spot is right after a high point, after a fun convo, a flirtatious moment, or a deep emotional connection. That's when you go quiet. That's when you leave her suspended in that emotion, wanting another hit of it. But instead of giving it right away, you vanish for a bit. That's the move. When she reaches out during that silence, don't rush to reply. Take your time. Show her that you're not sitting around waiting for her to notice you. Let her feel the contrast between how engaging your presence is and how powerful your absence becomes. That's the psychological pressure cooker that builds craving. Now, here's what separates a real man from someone just playing games. Your absence has substance. You're not disappearing out of fear. You're not sulking. You're living. You're working out. You're building your goals. You're hanging with people who energize you. Your absence isn't empty. It's magnetic. She can sense that your life is moving forward, with or without her. And that's what stings in the best way. The biggest mistake men make when they pull back is trying to control the outcome. They watch her status, they overanalyze her silence, they get frustrated when she doesn't react right away. But attraction doesn't work like an instant message. It brews, it builds, it takes time. If she doesn't reach out today, it doesn't mean it's not working. It might mean she's thinking more than she's reacting, and that's even better. Your goal isn't to make her panic, it's to make her curious. That curiosity is the spark. It starts small. Why hasn't he texted? Then it grows. Is he talking to someone else? Then it evolves. Was he even into me? That spiral of thought is what creates emotional pull, and the only way to trigger that spiral is by being gone long enough for her mind to wander, but not so long that she moves on. Strategic absence works even better when she expects attention and doesn't get it. If you were texting every day, calling regularly, showing up constantly, and then suddenly you slow down, she feels that shift like a cold breeze in summer. It jolts her, it wakes her up. And now, she's the one checking her phone. She's the one scrolling through old messages. She's the one chasing what used to feel guaranteed. That's the entire dynamic shift from you pursuing her to her chasing your presence. And the more subtle and smooth you are about it, the more effective it becomes. Don't announce your absence. Don't say, I'm gonna be busy for a while. Just go. Just fade. Just let the silence speak volumes. And when you return like you never left. Calm, composed, and not explaining yourself. Women are emotional creatures, but their emotions don't always respond to logic. You could say all the right things, but it still won't compare to the emotional impact of strategic silence. Why? Because words can be filtered, rationalized, ignored, but silence gets felt, and once she feels that emptiness, she either leans in or fades away. Either way, you get the truth. Now, let's say she does reach out, and she will, if the connection was real. When she does, don't jump back in like a puppy. Be warm but chill. Be responsive, but not overeager. Reward her curiosity with just enough energy to reignite the tension, then pull back again. That push-pull dance is what keeps her addicted, because now she's playing the game you're leading. Absence also reveals who's really invested. If she doesn't check in, if she doesn't miss you at all, good. You just saved yourself months of wasted energy. But if she does, if she starts reaching out more, trying harder, showing real interest, now you've created true desire, not manufactured, not begged for, but earned through energy and presence. One of the most powerful silent moves you can make is leveling up during your absence. Hit the gym, read more, build your income, fix your posture, heal your mind. That way, when you do return, whether it's a social media post, a quick chat, or a face-to-face meet, you show up as a better version of the man she knew. And nothing makes her chase harder than realizing you grew in her absence. Silence followed by transformation is one of the most powerful attraction weapons you'll ever have, because now she's not just missing you, she's realizing she might lose you to someone else, to a bigger life, to a version of you that no longer needs her validation. That fear, that's what turns a maybe into a yes. Never announce your comeback. Let her stumble into it. Let her see you glowing on your feed. Let her hear from a mutual friend that you've been doing good lately. That passive re-entry creates mystique. It paints you as the man who disappears, not to hide, but to evolve. Part 5. How to stay desired. Long-term psychological hooks that keep her invested. We've flipped the script, we've pulled back at the right moment, we've let the silence build tension. Now, here's the question that separates the guys who win short-term from the ones she can't forget for years. How do you keep the desire alive once you've got it? Because getting her to chase is one thing, but keeping her chasing, even when you're already close, that's where the real magic happens. And most guys, they lose it right here. They go back to over-pleasing, over-communicating, and losing the very edge that made her want them in the first place. The truth is, desire isn't maintained by comfort. It's maintained by mystery, not secrets, not deception, but depth, layers, space she can't quite fill. When you become too available, too predictable, too always there, she starts to feel like she's figured you out. And when she feels that, she stops wondering, stops craving, stops investing. Because a woman only stays invested when she feels like there's more to discover. You keep that desire alive by never letting her think she's reached the end of your depth. You don't have to be mysterious for the sake of it. You just have to keep evolving. Keep surprising her with new insights, new goals, new parts of yourself that show you're a man in motion. Women respect and crave men who grow, who improve, who don't stay stuck in one emotional lane. That growth isn't just attractive, it's irresistible. You also hold her attention by maintaining your own internal boundaries. The moment you start making her your whole world, she starts shrinking you in hers. Don't drop your mission. Don't cancel your plans. Don't rearrange your life for her attention. That doesn't create closeness. It creates resentment, because deep down, she doesn't want to be your purpose. She wants to be your companion on the path, not the path itself. What she's attracted to isn't just how you make her feel, it's how you move through the world. That means the confidence in your stride, the focus in your eyes, the way you stand by your values. When you lose all that trying to win her approval, she loses the man she was actually attracted to. But when you maintain your center, even as the connection grows, that's when she starts to respect you on a deep, cellular level. Another secret most men overlook is the power of emotional unpredictability. That doesn't mean mood swings or games. It means not being emotionally predictable. One day you're deep and introspective. The next you're playful and teasing. One moment you're comforting. The next you're challenging her. This emotional range isn't confusion, it's excitement. It keeps her on her toes, constantly engaging with you on different levels. You also need to keep your standards clear. Don't let attraction override your self-respect. If she crosses a line, you call it out, calmly, firmly. Not because you're insecure, but because you value your own peace. That kind of emotional leadership is rare, and it makes her see you as someone she can't manipulate. And when a woman knows she can't control you, that's when she starts to truly crave you. One of the most powerful long-term attraction triggers is inconsistency of reward. This is straight psychology. If you're always giving her attention at the same time, in the same way, with the same tone, it becomes expected. But if sometimes you're attentive and sometimes you're quiet, if sometimes you're affectionate and other times focused on your grind, it creates emotional suspense. And suspense is addicting. This is why you never let the vibe go stale. Take her to new environments, show up differently, try something unexpected, challenge her assumptions, break routine. Women are wired for emotional novelty, and if you're the man who keeps her feeling alive, she won't want to be anywhere else. But if you become background noise, she'll tune you out like a forgotten song. Here's another deep one. Don't always make her feel safe. Make her feel stimulated. There's a difference. Safety is important, but too much safety without intensity, that's when she starts to drift. She'll look for chaos somewhere else, just to feel something. But if you can be the man who makes her feel everything, comfort, tension, laughter, uncertainty, passion, then you become the storm and the shelter. That's the perfect mix. You keep the spark alive by not needing her emotionally. When you give her love and attention, do it because you choose to, not because you need to. That difference creates energy. It lets her know that your heart is strong enough to care without collapsing, that you're whole with or without her. And that's rare. That's unforgettable. That's alpha energy, without the fake bravado. Never be afraid to withdraw again, even when you're deep into the connection. Sometimes the most powerful move in a long-term attraction game is a subtle reset, a few days of space, a week of deep focus, not as punishment, but as realignment. So she remembers that your life is still bigger than her, that you haven't lost your mission, that she's still chasing a man who can walk away. You've got to become the source of both emotional certainty and emotional tension. That means she knows you care, but she doesn't always know what's coming next. That balance, that's what keeps her interested. Because women don't just want a nice guy, they want a man who challenges their emotions, who makes them feel alive, and who never lets the fire go out through monotony or neediness. Lastly, you've got to understand that she wants to earn you too. It's not just about you proving yourself, it's about you holding a space where she has to show up, stay curious, continue growing. When a woman feels like she's still earning your respect, your attention, your love, she stays in it because it's not just given, it's mutual, it's earned, it's real. That's how you stay desired, not by trying harder, not by doing more, but by being more, by growing, by staying centered, by balancing closeness with space, by staying grounded in your own purpose. That's what makes you the man she chases, not just at the beginning, but for a lifetime.